Hello and good morning. How are you doing today?
Good. How are you? Is this by video or just by audio?
Well, it's going to be by audio only because I'm a radio person, and to me it gives
Okay.
me that opportunity to really listen to your pitch, volume, and tone, and all that kind of funky fun stuff.
Perfect. Okay. And you've got a radio voice for sure. Nice to meet you.
Nice meeting you too. The journey that you have been on has been all about giving. My God, I mean, how do you replenish everything that you've allowed other people to take from you?
Well, I don't really think of it as people taking from me. It's kind of like I was born with this gift, and I've used this gift throughout my life. I would say my purpose in life or my mission has been to help others. So I don't really see it as people taking from me, but I see it as using my gift to help others find the answers, the comfort, the peace that they're looking for.
Yeah.
So it's really not a taking. It's more of a giving, if that makes any sense to you. And I've learned, yeah, and I learned how to protect my energy, my aura, so I don't get drained from readings. As a matter of fact, I get energized from them.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, I feel like I have to go out and do something. I have to be very active to burn off all this extra energy, or I won't be able to sleep.
That's one of the reasons why I take a transition walk, and plus I do a lot of daily writing, because if I don't do anything with this energy, then it just festers up.
Exactly. Or it's like, I feel like I've drank 3 cups of coffee. So I have to do something to expel the energy. Yeah, because I work with positive energy, and the people, my clients are, I've been very blessed. I've been doing that. I'm 21 years old. I don't know how this happened, but I've been doing it 31 years, but I'm only 21.
I get that.
And there's some mysteries of the universe we can't explain. Oh. And I've always just been, it's always been one of those things that I've been very blessed to have really nice people come to me. I don't attract a lot of crazy people. I put that energy out there when I started. I didn't want that. So my clients don't drain me. My clients are usually, just nice people. Yeah. And so I'm very blessed to work with those kind of people.
And they're blessed to share a conversation with you. And the way that you have learned how to do this is that you basically, you do it on a Zoom, or you do it in a phone conversation. I mean, it's not like we're going to go into this huge arena, but you are so one-on-one and personal about it.
Yeah, all my calls are by phone because I have clients around the world, actually. So it would be impossible for them to see me in person. I have celebrity clients that sometimes they want to fly me in, I don't know. I just think some people have so much money they don't know what to do with it all, because it doesn't really affect the reading whatsoever. It doesn't make it more accurate when I'm in person or whether it's on the phone. But, some people just, that's what they like to do.
Yeah. You don't believe that there's such a thing as a silly question, and you stand strong on that. There's no such thing as a silly question.
That's right. Boy, you've been doing your research. There is no such thing as a silly question. I say the only silly question is a question you don't ask.
Yes.
I had a woman come to me one time, and I mean, this isn't meant to be funny. It's really a true story. She was old. She was probably about 80 years old. And she had this little dog, this little poodle. It was a white poodle. And this poodle, her husband was gone. She didn't really have family. She had some friends. We're older. Our pets can sometimes become, they're everything to us, right? Mm-hmm. And her biggest concern was if she should dye this poodle's hair, I think it was a girl, pink, or if she should just leave it natural. Now that seems like, that on the surface that seems silly or funny, right? But the truth was, she genuinely loved this poodle and did not want to do anything to upset it. So she was genuinely asking very caringly, would it be okay?
Yep. Yep.
So, and to us, that's funny, and it is funny, but in context of her heart was really in that question, so that's why I say there's really no silly questions, because all of our questions, everyone has different questions, and everyone's got different reasons they seek out a psychic.
Yeah.
So I say, ask anything you want to know.
Yeah, I totally believe in animal speak. I believe that I live in this forest in South Charlotte because the animals are here and we communicate as one. And I picked that up on you as well, is that you love to have that connection even with all animals.
Yeah, I don't believe that animals talk. We see pet psychics on TV and, your horse tells you that he's cold in the barn. Or I don't believe that animals talk. And I don't think they believe animals talk. They just, in the shows, they don't explain it.
Yeah.
They make it seem like they talk. But the truth is, when you're tuning into the energy of an animal, you're literally what I'm doing, and I'm sure what they're doing. If they tried to say the animal talks to them, they're crazy and loony. But because animals don't talk. But what it is we're picking up the feelings of the animal and we're interpreting it in our words. So it's more of what's called an empathic, or a clairsentient or empathic. Clairsentience means clear feeling. Empathic is the more common term, where we can feel emotions from things. So it's an empathic experience where they're feeling the emotions of the animal related to the question, and then they're interpreting those into human words. So does that make any sense?
When did you realize that you were gifted with the art of listening? Because you do listen to people's voices and the vibration that comes from that voice.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I was born with an unusual gift. I don't know why I was born with it. I was. And I actually have the ability to see spirit guides, guardian angels, and ascended masters as clearly as if you were sitting here in front of me. So I sometimes feel like, it's like the way it is, it's like if you were here sitting in front of me, or you're on the phone, you're having a reading, someone would be here in front of me just telling me things about you, and I'd just be repeating it back.
Yeah.
So why I tell you that story or give you that information is because as a child growing up, I have always seen other people. So I never realized, and then I also have the ability, I can hear, I see people's auras and I can read voice vibrations in relation to what you were saying there. But the majority, I work with about 550 spirit guides, guardian angels, and ascended masters, and they talk to me. And that's where my information comes from. And as a kid growing up, I've always seen these beings. So I'm from a small town, Lancaster, Ohio. It's a very small town. And so it was, I lived in kind of a bubble. My mother had went to psychics when she was young. My dad's aunt was psychic. So my parents grew up in this kind of environment. They never treated me like I was different. So I never knew. Yeah, and it's very interesting. And my father was very kind of conservative. Not conservative in attitude, just kind of a, business guy. And my mom was like, I don't know how to explain it. But if you saw them, you would think, my dad, you'd think, he was open to these things. But very. So I never knew that it wasn't normal. It wasn't until I went to about middle school or about 8th or 9th grade, and I was sharing with some friends, and kids were scared. And that's when I learned not to talk about or to be very careful who I talked to about it. Because young kids didn't understand it, and it was scary to them. But I've always had the ability. I was the child that told my mom and used to predict things or say, hey, be careful here. And it was just a normal thing in our life.
With so many vibrations going on in the world today, how do you utilize the strength of chakras? We read about chakras. People think they understand them, but then there comes you who has learned how to use them as a tool, because chakras really are so important. Yeah, the chakras, there's 7 energy centers that run along your spine.
Yes. And each one correlates to a physical, spiritual, and emotional function of the body. And I had a healing center in Mexico, very successful healing center. And I did a lot of work with chakras. So to chakras are, I do what's called chakra balancings with people. Remote chakra balancings is one of my things because I think chakras are so important. Chakras are they are a very important part of our lives. A lot of people don't even really know what they are or know that they got them. But I definitely do tune into people's chakras when I'm doing readings for them, especially with certain issues or problems coming up. Oftentimes it can be due to a chakra being blocked or out of alignment. So I'm very tuned into that energy.
An average day for you, do you ever get to turn it off? Because, I mean, for me to turn it off, that's usually, like I said, I take that transition walk, or I will sit in silence because I've got to be able to sit in that silence.
No, I'm one of these people. Well, as a very young kid, it was very difficult. It used to drive me crazy. So when I was a boy, I remember this very specifically. I was around 15 years old, and what had drove me so crazy that I actually came up with it and created a process for myself to be able to turn it off. Now, I didn't want to turn it off completely. I just wanted to be able to turn it off when I wasn't needing to use it. So not pick up. So so that technique has served me well through my life. I'm always going around. I can feel things or pick up senses. But at the end of the day, when I'm not doing readings for people or meeting with clients or teaching a workshop, I pretty much have turned it off. So turning it off doesn't mean the gift goes away. I think of it more like an office. And when you walk out of your office and you shut the door, you kind of leave your work there until the next day when you go back to the office and open the door and go in. So that's kind of like what I do. At the end of the day, when I'm done doing readings, I kind of shut the door, and it's still there, but until the next day. But I'll go around, like if, for example, if you cut hair, you go around after you're done at the end of the day. You're going to notice other people's hairstyles. Oh, that looks nice. Or, I like the style. But you're probably not going to go up to them and talk to them about hairstyles. And, that's not going to be your conversation. So it's that kind of thing. I notice and pick up and can feel and notice impressions for hairstyles. But but I don't focus on them the rest all day long.
You mentioned a little bit ago that you talk with people all over the world. And of course, my heart swells when I hear that, because what is the mindset of the world right now? I know what we're going through in our own country, but I have compassion for every person on this planet. What are you feeling?
I'm feeling that the world, we're going through a shift in our consciousness. And I kind of believe that the world, the state of the world, because I'm also a law of attraction coach. Nice. I have a program where I have a 7-week and a 1-year program where I teach people about law of attraction. And I'm very good at that kind of work. I understand it. And so why I'm telling you that is because I kind of believe that the state of the world kind of reflects in some ways the consciousness of the world. So depending on the area that you live in the world, I believe that the events that I believe that our exterior world is just a reflection of our internal state. So if you take the collective consciousness of an area, I believe that the events and things that we're seeing are a reflection of the consciousness of the people. Wow. So, and in order to change that, we have to change our consciousness. So I think the thing, so I don't really see it as changing events in the world or what do we do to change it. I kind of see it as what do we do to elevate people's consciousness? Yeah. What do we do to get people focused more on compassion and love rather than, hate and division and discrimination? And So that's what it comes down to. It doesn't matter what country in the world you're in, wherever there's issues, it's either hate and division, or it's love and compassion.
Yeah.
And oftentimes we media and things focuses on the division, the differences, and the hate. And I think if it focused more on compassion and love, that would start shifting people's thoughts.
You know, I'm glad that you shared that with me. And the reason being is because here in the Carolinas, we've become a very injured state because of this most recent storm. And instead of looking at pictures and going, oh my God, I feel bad, we need to be activating ourselves. And like you said, spread the love. Go do something positive and help rebuild the state of the state.
That's right. I agree. Yeah, I think we have to. I say the news. I don't watch the news, and I'll tell you why. Yeah, I'll tell you why. It's the only place I know that says good morning and then goes on to tell you how bad it's going to be.
I love that.
So it's just that, there's a thing in the news, if it leads, it leads. Mm-hmm. And so the news is simply reporting what people want, the consciousness of people. And so the news in itself is a reflection of it. I mean, they are a business to make money, and they report what makes money. And they wouldn't be reporting all this negativity if people weren't watching it. So that in itself, in kind of a microscopic way, shows the consciousness of people.
Wow.
So I think if they started reporting good news, I don't think they'd be in business.
You really are a 31-year-old in a 21-year-old's body.
I'm 30, and I've been doing this 33 years, but I'm only 21.
Yeah, I don't know. It just blows me away. So how can people reach out to you and to get information about you and to really, really experience a moment with you?
People can visit my website. It's tanahoy.com, TANAHOY.com. That's where people can find out information. They can visit my Facebook page. But my Facebook is weird. My name, I made a mistake with it. I've got to kind of combine it, but it's Tana Hoy, TANAHOY.3. I'm getting ready to change the 3. I've got Tana Hoy, but I have to combine them. It's not the one I use. It's TanaHoy.3 on Facebook. And then I have a Facebook channel, YouTube that they can visit too.
Wow. You've got to come back to this show anytime in the future, Tana. The door is always going to be open for you.
Oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
No, I appreciate you, and I love where your heart is. Please be brilliant today, okay?
You too, and thank you so much.